he's quote-unquote caught with his special settings. Poll tards and Twitter tards are getting trolled to fuck, and I bet Anon that came up with the idea is laughing his ass off how gullible you faggots are.
You know, I kind of agree with him. Yep, 100%. I'm laughing my ass off. Whoever started this bullshit is laughing their ass off. We're like the ones that are coming out on top here, to be honest. Actually, everybody in this space is coming out on top here, because this is incredible entertainment.
Comedy goals.
I can't believe we actually like had an interaction with 4chan Live. That's just fucking funny as shit.
That's great.
Thank you. Come again. Thank you. Come again.
Elon, I would just like to say you're an N-word, and I've lost all respect I had for you. Why does Elon hate white people?
Elon doesn't hate white people.
Crying.
Where did anyone come up with that? Seriously.
Yeah, Dr. Lucas came up with a fake screenshot of an article claiming that he does.
Gosh, he dumb.
I'm down.
Yeah, the fucking anti-Semites are really the most ironically annoying people on the planet. Really, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Someone posted this image. Someone posted this image.
Let's take a look.
And they're like, is this what it means to make America great?
Let's take a look here. What the fuck is this? Oh my god. This guy with the sword though, holy shit.
That's wild.
Hey, who's posted that? Do you see that? That's hidden there? Who's posted that? Middle left.
To the left. Everything in the box to the left. I hate that fucking song, man. Like, I had a coworker, and she would constantly sing that in fucking office. Kill me. It's like, do you know another song? Because, like, you've been singing this for, like, 5 days now.
Well, the people listen to all of the Taylor Swift stuff.
Yep.
Then I troll everybody who does that very hard. And then they say, why do you do this? Well, because I'm kind of worshipping it. How's that? Because look, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Yeah. I gotta say, it's been a lot. It's been very productive.
Yeah.
Imagine if I could sing like Taylor Swift.
Imagine if you could.
Oh my god. She's probably cooking another breakup song after Travis Scott. I mean, Travis Kelce.
Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As if.
That's right.
Have you seen the? I'm gonna throw some esoteric bullshit out there. Do any of y'all know what Meat Canyon is?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to watch Meat Canyon. Taylor Swift. It's fucking hilarious.
Is that like an animation or something?
Yes.
Yes.
It's horrifying.
Okay.
There was actually one that was done by another person where they ruined people's childhoods by taking like movie characters and such, and they make them really fucked up, like Garfield and Scooby-Doo, the Chocolate Factory, all that kind of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That one is actually really good. Holy shit, man! I watched some of that shit. I'm like, god damn.
What about the one where
it's
like
so
mine was
well made?
Mine is also being killed by like the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marines. That one's pretty good.
Yeah. What about the one? But the Scooby-Doo one is the best. The Scooby-Doo one's by far the best in my opinion. The Scooby-Doo and the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory are the best. It's like such art, man. Such absolute fucking cinema, in my opinion. It's horrible. Don't watch it if you like, don't enjoy it. But it's absolutely fucking horrible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I made a bunch of people watch it, and their reactions are just absolutely amazing. I like once showed it to a bunch of people at work, and they were looking at me so differently after that.
Hell telling. I was like, I'm gonna get nightmares after this.
It's like, what the fuck did you just show me? Is this a thing that you watch in your spare time?
Yes.
What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
A lot of things, actually.
There's a lot of
you don't know
people,
me,
like
Ken.
normies, if you show them internet memes, they just get freaked the fuck out. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, this right there. What you're watching is what normies think that memes on the internet are like.
Yeah.
This is what the extreme lefties see when they look at memes.
If you can convince Adrian to just admit that he is Elon, we will worship him and name our firstborn sons after him.
What the fuck? First of all, that's impossible because you're never gonna get laid. And then second of all, I'm not Elon. Just kidding. on the first part, not the second part.
Wow, they almost got you there.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first
4chan
one.
is
I'm
always
not gonna lie.
right means that at least one. 4chan is always right means that at least one anon will get it right, Elon. It doesn't mean all anons are right.
Good point.
And here is where Elon realizes he's being mocked relentlessly while in a call with a bunch of psychopathic losers, and ends the stream. Oh wait, it's a quote-unquote space. It's not that the fucking audio is being streamed over common streaming protocols in audio form.
That's not actually. It's streamed over Periscope, but sure.
Since Adrian did, what the fuck is this image? Why is this a bunch of anime? Since,
like I said, there's no getting laid here. That's happening. Just saying.
You know the Trump raising his hand, right? After he got, it's like that, but like every single person in it is an anime girl for some.
That's amazing. You should hear it. That's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, I'll send the image.
Nobody ever talks about the weird interplay between far-right memes and anime waifus. Like, that's got to be studied at some point.
Since Adrian Dittman called all 2016 original MAGA voters crackheads, he should not be associated in any way, shape, or form with the upcoming Trump administration. Alex Jones, too, must distance himself from such a toxic individual who only holds contempt for regular Americans.
The crackheads, by the way, who I was referring to are specifically the types of people who keep spreading lies to everyone and manipulating people. By the way, the people who call themselves OG are a very, very small but yet very noisy minority of the larger movement. And I'm not going to be involved in the Trump administration. You know, I'm not. It's not going to happen because I'm not Elon. Okay, that's first of all. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I hate Vance's fat face more than anything. Elon personally heard my post calling him an N-word. I fucking love the internet, bros.
No, he did not actually, but sure.
Have you seen the memes they make of JD Vance where they make his face look really fat and like they put him in one of those caps that has like a propeller on it?
Oh my god.
No, I haven't seen it.
I gotta ask these people, would you rather have this guy who basically mogged Kamala Harris in a date or Kamala Harris herself? What would you rather have? Honest question.
Kamala Harris, of course. Nick Fuentes told me to go vote for her.
We're so OG Trump supporters, you know, it's not like we did it. Oh, fucking hell, man.
You know,
And then right after Trump gets elected, this guy's like, then right after Trump gets elected, this guy says, "Oh, we did it." Like, who's we actually?
Yeah.
Here's a good question.
So, my name's Nick Fuentes, and I want you to vote for Kamala Harris. You know, you have to understand that she's actually the future of America.
Oh my god. What did he actually say? I'd like to know what he actually said. To be honest.
I definitely went with that when the game was out, actually.
Hold on. Look at what one of them posted.
The next thing that's gonna happen was
Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not read that.
Wow, okay.
I really hope there's a bunch of feds on there. That shit's gonna damn. That's a credible threat. Somebody ought to look into that.
Yeah, don't read that aloud.
Please be for me. Please be for me. Please be for me.
It's not for you.
Trust me, you don't want it to be for you either.
Yeah. Let's just say it's deranged. Pretty mildly.
If you ever feel hopeless, just remember the lobsters in the restaurant of the Titanic. They are still alive.
That's actually a crazy thought because they lived to be like 150 years.
Real? Damn.
Real. Yeah. I mean, if anything, they probably enjoyed themselves.
Look, I already read that. I'm not gonna read that publicly.
Yeah.
You can post that. You can post it as many times as you want. I'm not gonna read that out publicly.
Somebody posted, Adrian is Gorlock the Destroyer. Apparently that's what you are.
What the fuck?
That's actually hilarious.
Wow.
Destroyer.
Actually, my name is Optimus Prime.
How is Gorlock a real person? That's what I want to know. And how did they become so popular?
Oh, yo. Ian, check this out. The Korean white supremacist, ironic how that sounds, posted this thing. Look at your face. Why did they make your hair so white? Why is the other eye lower than the other one? What the fuck?
I think he's gonna make me look like Quasimodo or something. Yeah.
Bro, he's
Yeah, I
like
don't
really
actually
trying to
look
go
like
for the
Quasimodo.
Goonies look. Dude, he's trying to go for the Goonies look, but
Oh.
keeping it human. 100%.
Yeah. Which is what's funny is like, this guy will say I look like Quasimodo or like the guy from the Goonies, but then he has to Photoshop my face to look like that. So like at that point, it's like, well, I obviously don't look like that character, so therefore you have to change it to look like that. And doesn't that just, render what you just did kind of stupid? Because you could literally do that to anybody's face. Why am I dissecting it? I don't care. This is still on, by the way.
Damn, somebody has like an oven under his bed.
What?
Alright. Ooh, this is a post with low impressions of him. I think, is Destiny streaming right now?
I don't know. Is he?
I can check.
Yeah, please check.
Why?
If any of you
Stream
here
is
are...
offline.
Wait, what happened, boys?
Stream is offline. His stream is offline.
Alright, then I'm pretty sure he's like off for the day. God damn it. I want him to come on. I want to have a chat with this guy. Destiny, if you want to come around anytime, probably to the day after tomorrow would be very nice if you'd be down for that. I'd like to have a bit of a conversation. A good conversation. Nothing political. Kind of a little bit political, actually. Just a little bit, right? But not too political, right? We're not going to like argue left versus right. We're just going to kind of have a discussion about the H-1B stuff if you'd like. Along with just a general breakdown of what you think of what you've seen over the last couple of days. I kind of want to have a little bit of insight here. We've heard, the like one very specific perspective. So now I want to hear the absolute opposite perspective. Okay, I haven't heard that yet, so I want to hear that. I think everybody else here would agree that would be an incredibly entertaining thing, wouldn't it? Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I think it would.
I don't like
He's
him,
a good.
but,
He's annoying sometimes. That's
He's
true,
very
but I kind of like him. I
Very
kind of respect him for it. I don't know why.
I find him extremely annoying. But I don't really care. One thing, a credit to Destiny is that when he's on a space, he's not gonna yell like some spurk, He's not gonna randomly, blurt out racial epithets like that one guy in the space with you, who, by the way, just got banned on X.
Wait, that was a long time ago that he got banned though.
Oh, I
No,
know. He like made
no,
it
he
all-
got it.
he made an alt, went in, and then started going crazy, and then they got the alt too.
Correct. Yeah.
Ban
Talking
evasion.
about
Yeah, paying
Shaw?
attention.
Oh, man,
Yeah,
I
that's
love
ban
that
evasion.
game.
Yeah.
I think also those spaces, like they don't take down those spaces, right? X keeps them up, and they use them as honeypots. So whenever these alts show up, they all get like instantly banned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're one of those stupid workers and you're listening, recognize that you're being tracked.
Yeah, it's not that anyone is targeting them specifically. It's just ban evasion. Like
Correct.
Yeah, there's a policy there. If people would actually bother reading it, it's there for all to see and read and observe.
We've tried to tell them to read it. They refuse.
Oh, they're illiterate. You can't advise them to do that. It's not fair. Like they're struggling. Okay, they are 7th grade students on like their reading capabilities at a 1st grade level. Okay, like
I mean, literally, how hard is it to talk to a fucking AI? It literally has text to speech right now. If you're that challenged, you may as well talk to the fucking AI and have it understand the super quote unquote the super complex terms of service. It's not that hard. Just copy paste a bunch of text. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can even have it explain it to you like you were 6. That actually
Exactly.
works.
Explain
Yeah.
to me the terms. Like I'm 6.
explain it to. Is this against the terms of services? Yes or no, and it will tell you
Mm-hmm.
if it is.
Here, based on the information provided to you, is this following action? Describe the action against terms of service. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Boom. It's
not that hard.
literally that fucking simple. It's that fucking simple. Come on.
Yep.
Why is Alex Rosen like shirtless in the fucking snow? What the fuck?
He's always shirtless. He's always
Yeah,
shirtless.
he does that
That's
quite
his
a bit.
thing. Yeah.
If you're
She's
watching
like
this
that.
live stream right now, post it to Blue Sky. If you're watching
That is
this
kinda
live
weird.
stream right
I
now,
don't know what
copy
to
the
say.
link and post it to
The
Blue
white birds just
Sky.
like stomp around. It's kind of funny.
Someone's asking a proper question. Ato, why don't you want to talk about meritocracy? It's what started that whole shit to begin with. Let's debate, my dude. How is it you guys are suggesting a meritocracy? How can you guys turn the system we have into one? Now is the time to explain yourself very clearly.
First of all, get rid of DEI. Then reform the H-1B thing to basically bring in only those people who are actually verifiably high-skilled. All the social bullshit that they're teaching kids in school, which is completely fucking irrelevant, that rots everyone's brains, that needs to be deleted. I don't think that kids need to know I don't think kids need to know what gender theory is. I don't think they need to understand what gay sex is either. I don't think they need to be taught that in any shape or form, way until they're adults. You're supposed to be a fucking kid. Leave them alone. That's one thing. There's a bunch of other things actually.
I mean, you really have to think about it. They would rather teach them that than teach them how to do their taxes. Like, what are you
Exactly.
what's really going on here?
Tells you a lot. Tells you what the priorities are and what they want you to become.
Yeah, all those weird teachers, get rid of them. All these weird fucking people who are complete narcissists at school boards, get rid of them also. Just completely delete all of that. Just delete all those positions. They don't need to exist. They're obviously occupied by people who have some sort of agenda, an agenda that is not sustainable and or suitable for any civilization that wishes to survive and thrive. That's it. There's a bunch more to this, but we can have a discussion on that if you'd like. Yeah, a proper question. There you go. See, we like meritocracy. We've discussed it many times, and we've mentioned it many times that is exactly what we stand for. And even to out his credit here, he has once made a post where it says everybody wants a meritocracy until it turns out that they're an idiot. So, I mean, it's just what it is,
It's pretty true.
Somebody send me that post so I can retweet it, please.
That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
Search his profile.
Alright. Yeah. Let me find it.
By the way, that advice of the taping it to the back of the TV, all the fucking tape came out, by the way. There's nothing sticking.
God damn.
I fucking hate tape. It's like, why can't they make it stronger? It's not that hard to make it stronger, guys. Like, shit.
There you go. It's actually my most popular post.
Yeah. It's a good pilot post for sure. God damn. I wonder what the response is going to be.
To what? Oh, to your thing?
Yeah, to what we just said, yeah. I mean, hey, they asked us a question, we answered it.
That's a legit question.
Yeah.
Legit answer.
There you go.
I mean, that's all it is, you know? Like, if you ask a serious question, it's going to be answered seriously.
It's cool that we are actually having this conversation on X, but like through, yeah.
Someone said, get rid of DEI, but not the Civil Rights Act, bro, sub-boomer level.
Huh.
Basically, this, the Civil Rights Act made it illegal to not discriminate, and some people argue that that's kind of what enables the DEI anyway, right? Because now, if you're not, so let's say blacks make up like 13% of the population, but like they make up like a lower percentage of like engineers. Now, if you're not hiring like 13%, now you can be hit by a lawsuit, and then that could cause some issues. So that's what he's referring to.
No, Civil Rights Act does not actually do that. He's wrong. Or you're wrong. I don't know. But either way, the Civil Rights Act just means that you cannot discriminate on the basis of any protected, class, meaning like your sex, your race, your nationality.
Handicap.
Okay. Handicap, exactly, yeah. Correct.
And I mean, you
so,
can
like,
prove.
If a poor person wants to get a job. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can prove that you hired a person based on merit. So by all intents and purposes, if race is your only excuse for why you hired someone, then that is by definition racist. So in this case, the Civil Rights Act would actually help you and end DEI, making DEI by execution illegal, effectively, which is also what it is. So again, I don't see that as a problem. I see DEI as a problem. I don't see a Civil Rights Act as being a problem, in my opinion.
Correct, yeah. It just prevents discrimination. It's actually true meritocracy.
Exactly.
Totally based.
And also, I mean, you don't want to live in a society where you walk into a store and they turn you away because they don't like the fact that you're black.
Exactly.
It's kind of a shit society.
Mm-hmm. You want to make sure that that's illegal. And guess what? That allows it to be illegal.
Yes.
So, I don't see the problem. And we do not.
The problem with that is, right, remember the whole wedding cake thing where the Christians were not willing to make it for like a gay couple?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing about that is they were bullshitting, right? They basically skipped past like a shit ton of different bakeries, and they specifically targeted this bakery that was 200 miles away from where they actually live, deliberately as a means to provoke this person. And also, he's not a baker; he is an artisan. He's a cake designer. So they were like instructing him to make a cake that was against this religion. It's not just the fact that said, hey, we're gay and we want to have a cake that says, happy anniversary. It wasn't like that. It was more like, hey, make a cake and put a bunch of dicks on it.
Yeah.
You cannot compel an artist or anyone really to do a job for you that they don't want to do. It's like going to a doctor and say, hey, work on me for free. It just doesn't work like that. If they want to refuse you as a client, it is their right to do so. They're not discriminating against you based on your protected characteristics. Rather, it's like you cannot compel them to do a job they don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same. I know there's like there's some nuances there, and the Supreme Court has dealt with it, and he did win. So. It's all pretty clear at this point. Trying to relitigate it is quite, frankly, annoying.
It's also kind of crass that you go to a cake artisan, like literally the ascended class of the baker, to have him bake a dick cake. We could just have any 2-bit baker do it. Like, honestly.
They wanted that on purpose. And he's always constantly being targeted by these different activists, right? It's not just the one group of people that went there to do it. It was a bunch of other people came afterwards demanding that he, go through this whole shit again.
Mm.
It's a harassment campaign.
It's funny though, like full of all these weird people that I disagree with. I think that's great. Yeah, I think a lot of people would be wondering, why am I following these people who I sometimes have beef with? Because it's funny. That there's literally no other way to describe it. It's just I think it's funny. That's it. What is this?
What is dust?
Oh, this idiot. Right. They're trying. So basically, a bunch of the, especially these weird people who keep lying, have got together and are claiming that their space is bigger than mine. Like they have 800 listeners, we have 1,200. I don't know what to tell you, but you're full of shit. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so weird. What a fun one. What an absolute fucking fun one.
Great.
I don't know what to say. It's just weird. Either way, life continues. It's a little troll. People don't get it yet, but they will. I can't trade. That's a funny screen name. Some of these screen names are actually kind of funny. Like I look at them and then I just start laughing because it's.
You know what's funny is these grippers, right? That band. They're claiming, right, that the only thing they posted was quote unquote varied content such as clips, book club material, Christian theology, etc. Really, book club material? Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, what is this guy doing? Whoa.
It's a super funny way to describe anti-Semitic clips, yeah?
So many mouthful of maggots. Oh, that is wicked. Eesh. Fuck. What is this shit? Lol. I keep seeing like a bunch of Marvel Rivals clips and it's funny as shit.
It's a pretty good game.
Mm.
Have you tried it?
It's extremely good, to be honest.
It's better than Overwatch. A lot better.
I'm gonna try
It's
it.
a lot more sophisticated because there's team-ups. So if you and your pal want a bonus to damage or something, you can actually team up with their character and you just you play the specific class. Stuff like that. It enables the creation of a lot of metagaming. Yeah, makes it interesting.
This is fucking insane. Nice. Great gameplay clips.
Yeah.
Either way, back to topic. What's 4chan saying right now?
Let's see. Adrian, why don't you support allowing Chinese EVs into USA?
Not his call.
Yeah, that's a good point, first of all. And second of all, if there are tariffs on these things, good, because they should buy local.
Yeah, they should.
Like, do you want to see? Here's a good question. Do you want to support, like, let's imagine that you live in America. Do you not want to support your own local labor in that country? Because that adds direct value, that directly adds value to you. Because if you don't, you're kind of fucking yourself. So, yeah, Ian makes a good point. First of all, it's not my call. Even if it was, anyone could still buy them, but I think just the tariffs will be insane, as they should. If there is a different manufacturer assembling, if there's like a manufacturer and assembly relationship between China and the US with some company, maybe that would be like a good exception to make there, because, you know, you are taking the most high-level jobs, like you're taking the most high-level actions within the country itself, like the US, and then you're able to, you know, do assembly of whatever you've produced, which is a lower skill thing. You could do that in China, I suppose. I don't know. Many manufacturers actually do this in Europe, for instance. They would be they manufacture components for various many machines, and then that gets assembled in China because the labor there is cheaper, and specifically, like, you can focus specifically on the assembly part. It's a relatively simple process, but if you're like trying to have the highest, you know, skilled people in the company directly where you are, you know, also the highest paid, by the way, then you're not going to want to make these people, you know, work assembly. No.
Yeah. Right.
You can do that, which I think that would, you know, Tesla's doing, right? Because they assemble all their cars right in-house. They do a lot of things in-house. They're a great example of a company that does incredible work, in my opinion. Yeah.
There's a couple of things happening that I want to talk about. So just now, it just happened. Biden is going to block the sale of U.S. steel to a Japanese buyer, and in case you didn't realize, Trump already announced that was what he was going to do first, right? So Biden is trying to take the wind out of his sails by trying to claim credit for what Trump already proposed. What a shit move. The second thing I wanted to talk about is, did you guys see the Enron, quote-unquote Enron interview with Taylor Lorenz? So, like, they trolled her. So Enron is not actually, you know, the original company Enron, right? It was kind of a dead thing, and I guess a bunch of guys bought the company and rebranded. Well, they didn't rebrand it. They're just claiming that they're Enron, which I guess, in a sense, that they are. Anyway, they tricked Taylor Lorenz into giving them a legitimate interview. It is insane. They are trolling the absolute piss out of her.
Biometric voice identification experts did an analysis of comparing Elon Musk's voice to Adrian Dittman's.
I'm just gonna end
See
it.
below.
Dude, like, what the fuck is this level of academic
They
proof?
found
What the fuck?
they found that while not impossible, it is highly unlikely they are two different people.
They're two different people?
I estimate that only 0.5.
When you stop to consider that Adrian Dittman added Elon to tell him he was a good dad, you really get a sense of how lonely, insecure, and frankly pathetic person Elon is. Sad.
Like, bro, I, as an individual who's separate from him, cannot compliment him, really? Is that... Bruh.
So stupid.
This day and age is called dick sucking.
But here, you know what the funniest part is? Here's what's funniest. You missed the funniest part. This part. Professor at UC Berkeley.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
God. Dude, I'm doing such a great service to everyone who hates academia right now. And they don't even know it. That is so funny. Wild. Just absolutely wild. Wow. I need memes. Anyone has any good memes? Stuff that's, you know, not gonna cause a civil war or anything.
There's nothing but depressing stuff.
Oh my fucking god.
Like, I've just been covering this, the grooming gang shit that's happening in the UK, you know? It's pretty bad. 250,000 victims deliberately targeted by these rapists, and the government just looked the other way and in some cases arrested the girls, the victims. In some cases arrested their parents for trying to do something about it. Just absolutely horrendous.
Wow.
And now Britain is trying to legalize both incest and marriage with 10-year-olds.
Wild. Anything else from those guys there on the other side?
Yeah. Let's see. Adrian, do you think that 4chan should be purchased by Elon with significant improvements and rule changes?
I don't really see the gain, in my opinion. I feel like that site itself, I don't think it would be worth it. No offense to anyone who's using 4chan, by the way. I kind of feel like its heyday is long since gone, and a lot of the people that made it great are becoming ever fewer on that platform. I even look at the platform's participation, and it's like, it's okay, but not something that I think you should invest money. Maybe it's different, and he's going to do that. I think the 4chan humor for sure would be quite great, but look, our first encounter here was with a bunch of people saying the most schizophrenic nonsense ever, and that was the noisiest conversation and the highest signal conversation in the entire on the entire platform in regards to this issue, which is I think indicative of how I think a lot of its greatness has left.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you wanna know a funny fact about the suicide bomber?
Funny fact? Okay, sure.
Yeah. So he didn't drive straight from Denver to Las Vegas, Nevada. He actually went to the wrong Las Vegas. He went to New Mexico. And then he had to actually go to the real Las Vegas. What a fucking dumbass.
That is
well, if you're gonna get lost in a Cybertruck. At least you have the amenities, the FSD, and it's probably nice and spacious.
He had to stop 8 times to recharge.
I just hope he left a positive review before he went kablooey.
Truck was very durable.
There you go. Look, it was the best last ride of my life. Would recommend and would do again. Oh wait, that sucks. So I wish Cybertruck ride were so good that it could have just changed his mind and said, you know what? Never mind this shit. I want to live. And then he just goes back home and just doesn't return the truck.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, give me something else from there. Are they saying anything else? Anything good?
Yeah. There was one thing. Hold on.
Just keep the updates rolling in.
Sure.
He could have traveled a straight route, and it would have saved him many, many, many hours.
If he had already intended to blow himself up, I don't think time was his primary concern.
He went to the wrong Las Vegas.
I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Adrian, you want us to buy local, but you don't want to hire local? He's like, withdraw your H-1B apps so us locals can afford your cars. Otherwise, we will lobby for cheap Chinese
Your
EVs that we
cars?
can afford.
What? Yeah, that's so schizophrenic. I can't even respond to anything in there. Next, please. You need to ask me serious questions, or you can ask me troll questions. We've already had a decent amount of the troll questions. Let's see if we can get more answers, more questions that are actually good.
Guys, also reply to questions on the space in the bottom right.
Yes.
Yeah. Guess we can't really be devoting all the attention to Tard whispering on 4chan.
What the fuck?
I know. I'm terrible.
What the hell is this?
It says, what are your thoughts on Gödel's incompleteness embracement?
Wait, what?
It said, what are your thoughts on Gödel's incompleteness embracement?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. No.
No.
I'm not that much of a philosopher, to be honest. I really can't form a good opinion.
Is it philosophy? I mean,
It's not really philosophy.
math.
It's
This is
no,
math,
it's
right?
it's not philosophy. Yeah, right. It's math.
Yeah, it's a logic puzzle. Well, not puzzle, but quandary.
Yeah.
So there's two, right? Here's two incompleteness theorems.
Hmm.
The first statement, I'll read them. According to Grok, the first statement is, in any consistent formal system that is sufficiently powerful to describe basic math, there will always be statements that cannot be proved or disproved within the axioms of the system. These are called undecidable statements. The second theorem is, if such a system is consistent, it cannot prove its own consistency. That is, if the system is consistent, then the consistency of the system cannot be proved within the system itself.
This reads like half of my posts. Like legit, this reads like half of my posts.
It's correct, though,
Yeah.
what he's saying. You cannot use something to prove itself. It's as simple as that. Because you need an outside observer to do so. The system within itself is unable to, prove the thing.
I think that's like a route that would even, by that logic, it could provide a really good argument for why, you say you have foreigners that have an opinion on, local local affairs, wherever local happens to be and whatever, foreign happens to be within reference to whatever local is. Yeah.
It's good to have an outside observer. That's the only way you can get an actual astute observation of a thing that is happening. It's quantum, what do you call it? When you observe something, you have to have an observer to be there to observe it. Otherwise, it's not a thing, right? And then you have Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, right? It's either a thing or not a thing until an observer decides, by observing, through the act of observation, determines what the thing is. Until then, it is a quantum superposition, and that is not particularly useful when you're dealing with a very finite, what do you call it? A formal system. Otherwise, it's not going to function properly. You need absolutes.
Anything else?
Yeah, they're saying, why are people so scared of honest competition? Trump will be deporting the criminals, and the top 1% will remain on the H-1B.
Yeah, I don't know why people are afraid of honest competition is a good question. I don't know.
Terrified of it.
It's like people saying, I should not be expected to compete. Like, you want to be global superpower, you don't want to be compete with global. You see how that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're truly the superior people, the ones who claim to be the master race or something, why are they so afraid of competition?
Exactly.
Like, I don't think anyone is superior, right?
Because they're afraid of being outperformed. That's why.
Outperformed, out-talented, out-skilled, and proven wrong, right? You can't be superior if there's somebody else who's better than you. So you're trying to eliminate the competition just by preventing the competition from even competing. To me,
That's
it's fucking cheating. That is a Nancy Kerrigan effect, right? When you slash your opponent in the fucking leg, you break her leg or whatever, and prevent her from competing so you can win. It's pathetic.
That's one of the main reasons why it's like a lot of these people don't want this to happen, is that they're gonna get. I almost think that 40% or maybe a little bit less, the reason why they're fighting is the fear of being replaced by somebody better or being replaced by technology. I would say it's a mixture of both.
Yeah, that's why they oppose AI. And when you if you look at Mary Tiles, right, when Mary Tiles Texas, when she tweets about how AI is going to be implemented in a lot of trades, look at the responses. There are so many angry people who, by the way, don't even do trades, right? They're not even in trade work, and they're talking about how no, it's not going to happen. We're going to ban it. It can't happen. They just start losing their fucking minds over it because they are so terrified of the fact that you will have to learn these new skills in order to compete in the marketplace. Because if you're like the one guy who is driving a horse and buggy and all the other taxi drivers are driving a car, you're basically fucked.
It's good. A lot of people do the walking.
And they don't want to be that guy, but they also don't want to learn how to drive a car. They just want to complain and stick to their old ways and then say, no, we got to prevent this from happening. Well, I'm sorry, but the march of progress will not stop for you because you are just in the way. You will be steamrolled, and that is too bad. So, fucking shape up or get the fuck out of the way.
You're not wrong, but that's where you have to kind of toss up the argument. Do they want to advance or do they not? And this all boils down to this. It comes down to the same three things every single time this conversation comes. It comes down to Department of Labor, because I know there is jobs. If the Department of Labor is telling me there's zero jobs and there's zero place for any person to work, then yeah, now we have a serious problem. But that's not the case. Two, if they're lazy, that's between you and Jesus, right? Like, let's be honest here. And three, if you don't want to progress, i.e., go to school, take a course, whatever, then you're doomed to be in the same place. And if that's where you want to be, then, maybe America's not the place for you.
There are additional problems, though, like not to dismiss their concerns, but Mary also posted this one article saying that there are a lot of students who want to learn trades, but there's not enough teachers. So that is a real problem. See, that is something that actually needs to be addressed, right? So there are people who want to learn these skills, but they can't because nobody is there to teach them. That is a fucking problem, and that needs to be fixed. Like, that is a real thing. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, now we're getting to the fucking meat of it, okay? This is a thing that needs to actually be addressed. Teachers need to be trained in the trades, and we need to find a way, when I say we, like we as a society in general, right? Need to find a way to coax a lot of tradesmen into teaching their skills and paying them for it. That is something that you could actually do to fix a big part of the problem. Like, a big part of the problem with colleges right now is they're not teaching the right subjects. They're teaching stuff that is 5 years, 10 years outdated. They're not learning anything that could actually help them in the workplace. They're not learning neural networks, for example. So how the fuck are they going to learn about AI, right? They're not going to get a job at an AI company if they don't even know how to do it. That is something that needs to be fixed. They're not going to become tradesmen. They're not going to learn how to do woodworking if nobody wants to teach them how to fucking operate the machines, right? That needs to be fixed. Those are real problems. They're addressable, and you can find solutions to them. But when you're just, if your only issue is that you're afraid of competition, that is not a real problem. That's a you problem. That's a skill issue. So it is multifaceted. Absolutely, right? It's just frustrating when people just complain about how they're afraid of basically being outclassed by people who may or may not be better. But it drowns out the actual complaints, the stuff that can actually be fixed for this. the question they should ask themselves is, why are we being outclassed, right? Why is it that we're not producing as many students who are as good as in engineering as these foreigners are, right? These Russians or these Chinese or these Indians. Ask that question, and then once you get your answer, then that will no longer be a problem because you'll have a solution. Don't just get mad. Ask why.
Exactly. Another question from 410. Adrian, why don't you encourage Indians to stay in India and work to make their own country a superpower instead of advocating for bringing them here in mass?
Because he's
It's
not
not
Indian
en
and
masse.
he's protected, right?
Yeah, first of all, it's not en masse that you bring people to the U.S. It's not en masse. Second of all, let's imagine. So India has a lot of problems. One of which is that the caste system is to an extent still present, which is a major issue. And so imagine if you are, say, a person that through the internet has discovered that they are a highly capable individual, but the caste that they are, part of doesn't allow them to ascend in their own society. Why don't you just bring this insanely capable individual to a country in which they can realize their full potential? Do you not want to have people be free?
Yeah, another
Yeah,
way to explain
if I can-
this actually is imagine if you're German, and the German government has taxed you to shit. They have way too many regulations. All this fucking bullshit. If you say, as a German, that I would have much more luck in the US, it makes perfect sense. But because, the circumstances in Germany aren't perfect, even though it's still way better off than India. But at some point, like, your hands are kind of tied. So, if you're society is not shaped by the general person, it's shaped by the it's shaped by the 0.1%, 1%, those people. Not establishment, I mean like the minority. The minority that contributes significantly to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If I can just put in a word here, I mean, the fact is, caste is illegal in India. It's against the law. The government of India actually has affirmative action for quote-unquote
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
It does
No,
it
no,
does
it
matter
doesn't, because I've talked to people who have tried to make companies run in India, and they tell me that the caste system is probably the single biggest issue. No amount of government interference is going to get rid of that problem because it's a cultural issue.
So in the urban centers and the suburbs of India, people have progressed tremendously. It does not apply. It doesn't even have a problem. The country, the rural areas, this is a
No, I'm talking specifically about manufacturing. I don't think they would be manufacturing in the rural areas. In the manufacturing world, from what I've heard, is that let's say you've got like a very, very capable person, as an example, and this capable person is from like a lower caste. The people from like the higher caste will like actively avoid or not listen to him or disrespect his opinion or things like that. It causes a lot of tension with people just not respecting the fact that it comes from someone of a lower caste, despite the fact that they are more capable.
Or even their boss.
Yeah, so the thing is, these attitudes are being rooted out as time progresses, and it is something that is on the wane. I'm not going to deny that it is there. It is a big freaking problem, and the way it's being addressed is actually through affirmative action, which actually pisses off a lot of people in India. There's actually the whole commentary about how this left-wing DEI stuff in India is so prevalent, where they're elevating certain groups of people over other groups, and there's overrepresentation of them. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's a lot more muddled than it appears.
Send the signal to the speed bump to lower for a few inches, but only if the
Yeah, but the issue is still there, and it doesn't disappear. And it's very deeply ingrained. And so, again, like, you're going to be discriminated against inevitably at some level, and some people always will. And you want these people to realize their potential in some form or another. And, you know, if that happens, and look, you know, you could say the same thing. Let's look at it from a different perspective, a little bit of a different perspective, but with the same execution. And that is, you know, why didn't you encourage, by this logic, why don't you encourage people like Werner von Braun to stay in Germany? Yes, thanks to people like that, America is to an extent a superpower, right?
Also, some guys says you guys are afraid of competition. Let's tax electric cars so they don't compete with my companies. I think for there to be like actual free trade, for there to actually be free trade, what you need is for there to be fair competition. You know, you've got patents being respected, you have proprietary technology being respected, all of that being respected. If a country like China is not respecting any of those, then they don't deserve. You're basically doing free trade with a country that's constantly shooting you in the foot. And you can't really run that. And that's not just an opinion with electric cars. I think you have to deal with a country that is actually willing to be more open and is willing to actually do things the way they should be done, as opposed to just fucking over foreign companies and trying to build a base for themselves. They basically become the world's factory for everything and have the entire world dependent on them no matter what they have to do.
All right, I got a couple more questions here from 4chan. Adrian, do you think integration is being held back from all these people having very closed minds? It's counterproductive. If they were more open with Indians, for example, we wouldn't want to fast track culture combination so we can work more effectively together and identify the next Einstein, question mark.
I'm kind of confused about this question. Like, cultural integration, as in the cultural integration is from the people who are already in the US or the people who are going to be in the US? I'm confused. Which is different from the one from whence you came. Taking on the culture and ideals of the country you're going to is, I think, something you definitely should do, and not just should, but have to. Because, you know, you're going away from wherever you are for a reason, right? So why don't you just embrace the thing? Like, why don't you just embrace the country where you're going to go? Because you're going there for a reason, and the reason being because it's an opportunity. And if the country were any different, then, you know, there wouldn't be that opportunity. So wouldn't you want to be like the place that gives you the opportunity, because that would preserve it, perhaps even for others. And in case for, like, if you wanted to take it the other way around, if you want to say open-mindedness for people in the US, I don't think there's a problem with open-mindedness necessarily. I think it's I think what we've seen here on the platform is a very fringe opinion. It's just been drummed up by platform manipulation. That's how I see it. So I don't see it as much of a problem. You know, we've had many people on this stage, for instance, and they haven't had a single problem with you know, the two Indians here actually on stage. So I don't see that. You know, maybe that's just because we draw a very special crowd. But, you know, I don't have like a random American come up to me and say, "Hey man, I have a problem with all these Indian people." Like, yeah, I don't have that. people there. I think the people who you bring there should assimilate to what is already there. This doesn't mean that they should, discard their culture. Far from it. As a matter of fact, you can keep that culture, preserve it, and nurture it as you should. It is just that in certain ways, if you interact with the system, you're a part of that system, and you should act as such. That is how I see it, in my opinion.
Awesome. Okay. Last question from here. Adrian, for the last 20 years, Americans have had their jobs offshore to China, Taiwan, Mexico, and other countries. In the last 4 years, 20 million migrants poured over our border and undercut and stole lower-class jobs and businesses. Now you want to pour in millions through the H-1B visa. You support your H-1Bs, and we will all turn against you. Simple as.
First
That
of all,
is so absurd, right? Like
there's many things wrong with this. First of all, why are you addressing me in conjunction with policy and how things are shaped? I have nothing to do with that. Again, if you're insinuating that I'm Milan, no. That's the first thing that's wrong. Another thing that's all wrong is the 20 million migrants. Is that the illegal immigrants, or I think that's the illegal immigrants that you're referring to there. Actually, that would be accurate. They're illegal, of course, which is a problem. H-1Bs represent a very, very, very small number of people that actually come in, even though it's a corrupt system. I mean, we had a little bit of meme war. That's the best way I can put it. We had a bit of a meme war with this one person who thought, hey, here's what's wrong with academia. Look at Harvard, for instance. It's a university that's fallen, in my opinion. If you can have people that contribute academic works, quote unquote, which are all made up, that's an issue. For instance, there was this one individual who's caused a lot of problems, including one of the most notable, not notable, but one of the most memorable things that they've done was they lied so much that they ended up publishing a paper on lying, which they lied on. So that was kind of interesting. Then, of course, there was this case with this one individual who got a PhD after an analysis or assessment or whatever that was on how class race-based prejudice somehow affected the perception of certain smells in fictional works. So certain smells in fictional works were associated somehow with some sort of classist, race-dependent designation. I suppose it's basically a pseudo-intellectual dog shit and shouldn't get you a title at all. It's nonsense. Ironically enough, that's what doctorates always used to be until there was like a higher standard, but now we're kind of returning. So ironically enough, it's not even, by historical standards, it's not even that bad, right? But that's, if that gets disrupted and, actual values, that's not valuable. Nobody cares. It's bullshit. If somebody smells bad, they smell bad. That's it. If somebody associates these smells with people, then, it depends. Like, what's going on here? Are they associating this? Like, for instance, if you were to say that all Indians are brown and stinky, that's a problem, right? Because it's not true. And then, second of all, if it's made up smells, that's another thing. That's just bullshit. And I think the whole sector needs to be a little bit shaken up. Needs to be reminded. Oh, hey, people actually try to contribute something of value, and whatever that work is, I think is fundamentally useless, has no relevancy on life at all. Bit of a long-winded explanation. I'm sorry, but
oh, that's good. What are your thoughts about dialectical materialism, and is it a form of analysis that you use? That's unfortunate.
I know about this. Hang on, let me look that up again real quick. I know this.
Karl Marx. Yeah.
It's from Karl Marx?
Yes.
Yeah, then I definitely don't know it. I've heard of it, but I definitely don't know it. I don't read anything from Karl Marx because he's a fucking idiot. I don't listen to historical brain rot. Sorry.
Okay. Another question from 4chan. Why, as a Zoomer white male, should I care about America whatsoever?
Because you fucking live there? What? I don't know. Why? What do you mean? Why should you care? Like,
You live there. It's like your house.
It's your house. Exactly. It's like saying, why should I care about the bathroom? Why don't I just shit on the floor? It's the same fucking argument. Doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Love where you live. Love where you live.
Exactly. Like America's an incredible system, and it is literally the land of opportunity. Though it has been, tarnished a little bit because of bad management. But it's an incredible system that I believe, if shaped a little differently, could present even more opportunities, not just to the people that are already there, but to people who'd like to, fulfill their greater purpose in life, whatever that may be for them.
By the way, Trump is he's like nonstop posting on X right now. Just so you know, like he's actually using his phone. He's just like posting stuff.
Nice. Imagine if he joins the space. We'll be so cooked if that happens.
Wow.
It's so funny how many people are jealous of this. Like, Elon's there. Like, all these tech guys bought in. Like, no. For the record, Elon is one of the only people that staked his entire existence on Trump.
Correct.
Put his entire existence on the line. If
he lost,
yeah, that would have been the end of him. That would have been the end of him. 100%.
Been done. Welfare would have killed him.
Exactly. They well, not probably not the killing part, but Mark Cuban did the other way around, right?
They would divest them from him. They would say this is
100%.
monopoly.
No, yeah, they would make it they would make it institutionally. They would make it look institutionally unsound to do any business with anything that is Elon Musk if Trump would have lost. That's what it would have looked like. So he actually had the most to lose out of every position. He had the most to lose.
So to cover my position about patents, I think I've discussed this already before.
I repeat it again.
Huh?
No, repeat it again.
Yeah. Basically, before patents, what would happen is that you would no ordinary average person would actually invent anything. Like, think about that before the age of patents. You had people like Isaac Newton. When he wanted to create something, it was literally just so he could show it off to his friends. With the invention of patents, it was for the first time ever that people could actually sit down and actually invent something new and make money off of it. Make a living off of it rather than, farming all day or work at factories or whatever the fuck. because you would invest money, you would invest time, and you would create something and then you would patent it. But before patent, if you did that, well, you just spent a bunch of money and spent a bunch of time. Someone that didn't spend that money or time could literally just take what you just created, and they could literally create the same thing for cheaper, and then you would be fucked. So patents actually encouraged innovation and encouraged the world to get better over time. That's why I'm talking about patents. You need to respect patents, you need to respect trade, you need to respect trademarks. And that's the reason for why China. Right? China's not a good partner to trade with. That's why, in fact, a lot of the success has been entirely because America decided that they were going to outsource to China. It wasn't because China did anything remarkable in particular. They keep ignoring the fact that 76 IQ India will never be Werner von Braun. Look, O1 and EB5 visas, a lot of people don't qualify for EB1, O1, EB5, right? Elon was on H1B, right? They don't always catch these things. And you're talking about like average Indians. We're not talking about average Indians. We're talking about like the top 1% of Indians, top 0.1% of Indians. You can talk about like, oh my God, this person from the, like average person from this country is so dumb. But you guys love to talk about IQ, but you guys don't like accept that there's people in those countries. No matter what country you look at, no matter how low its average IQ, you're still gonna find someone out there who is actually intelligent, because that's how it fucking works. That's how a normal distribution works.
Yeah. Which again gives it even more of a reason why I'd want to bring in those types of people, because imagine you do the same for not just this one. Like it's for the people that were arguing against H1B, the noisiest of which were people who just argued because they had an India problem. That's it. So they were basically just using the H1B discussion as a vehicle by which they could deliver the disdain that they have for, the Indian populace. So that's actually the primary issue, because if you were to consider it at an international level, there's actually a lot of other people from other countries. If you look at H1Bs, everybody terms it as like we'll throw them all in the same bucket and they're all the same people. It's like, no, they're highly skilled people, and it should be, right? But they're going to be from many different nations. Not all of the people who are H1Bs were Indians anyways, because that's how. Where does it say that? Doesn't. So that's another thing. Any more questions from 4chan?
Yeah, they say, who the fuck is Adrian, and why does he not talk about his background at all?
Cause you schizos. Is that a suitable answer? I mean, think about it this way. Y'all are obsessive to the point of getting people, ironically, by the way, getting people from fucking, how do I explain? Like, you're obsessive to the point where you'd fake screenshots, okay? And then somehow accept those as fact and reality. Then harp on that and make up a bunch of bullshit and do whatever. Like, why the fuck would I talk about my background more than I already do? And I do talk about my background sometimes. You want to know what my background is? Manufacturing. There you go. That's it. You don't need to know more. Nobody can demand anything off of me. You don't get to demand that off me. People who could give me job opportunities, or someone improve my life and I can actually trust, that they will know. But who are you? Seriously.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's called
And
OPSEC.
Yeah. And then the next person said, well, it can't be Elon because Adrian doesn't stutter. But it's kind of funny. As I was reading that, he started like stuttering a little bit. It's like, that doesn't
Yeah,
work.
I mean, look, if I'm dealing with things that I haven't really put together before, then I have, pauses, extended pauses, stuttering, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Right. Nothing important's coming out of 4chan anymore.
And there's a couple of things. I mean,
Yeah, you can filter for all the good questions. I want them.
Okay, let's see. Next person says, why should I care about the American apparatus since it's entirely anti-white? My family's been here since the 1950s. I don't want to share a space with the non-whites.
What the fuck?
What the fuck is that?
Jesus Christ. It's
I don't
not
think it's
fundamentally anti-white. DEI is fundamentally racist, but that's as far as it goes, I think. Like, if you implement that at any level, then yes, it's bad. And if you have two-tier justice, then there's an argument for that, but I don't see that yet. I see that in Great Britain, though. But
Yeah, Britain is actually fundamentally anti-white right now because there are literally jobs that say no whites allowed. They're specifically looking for BAME people, right? Meaning black and people from the Maghreb and Pakistanis. That's basically all the job requires. Yeah, it's fucked up. Doesn't matter if you're qualified for it. They're like, no, we don't want you. You're white.
so be lucky that in America you don't have the Great Britain institutional racism levels.
Racism.
Yeah, be lucky there. Hey, more of a reason for you to fight for your own shit, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you want the world to become just like them?
How does shit talk you? I'm actually trying to answer these questions legitimately. Go ahead.
Question for Adrian: do you disagree with Elon on anything?
I don't know, maybe a few things it could be. You'd have to, I don't know. I mean, hardly there's anything that I disagree with him on. Because at the end of the day, what he does works. Even though it's strange in some areas, I really don't see a problem. I mean, you have to name a specific example. Like, we're different, if that's what they were trying to get to. I'm different in that, I do like having some fun. I do grind more than I do actually have fun. I didn't actually take a day off either, so I don't do that either, so I can't,
Right, so
there's not much there.
you don't accept that there are outliers. We do the outliers are things like O1 and EB5. EB5 is a $1 million, payment, right? Not all of them have. I think what you're referring to is EB1. The problem is, as we've discussed, O1, EB1, EB5. Some people, right, don't qualify for these. Elon himself didn't qualify for them. Elon literally founded Zip2 and sold it for over $200 million, and he still didn't qualify for the O1 visa. It was only after PayPal that he qualified for it. So yes, if O1, EB5, EB1, these types of things actually worked properly when they should have, then we would support it. The problem is that they don't. So if they manage to fix O1, EB1, EB5, if they manage to fix all of those, then we can all agree on scrapping H1B. You need to respect patents, trademarks, so you're saying that a large group of 1.41 billion people are behaving differently, kind of racist to make judgments about behaviors of such a large group. I'm not saying it about the people, I'm saying it about the government. The government is actively encouraging this.
There is a video right now that's going viral. So it is random, right? But there's a video that's going viral of this one really fat, piggish woman. She's at a restaurant in Dubai, okay? And she's mocking other patrons because they are dressed in a way that she doesn't like.
Nice, good. Ian, go down there, interview her.
No. I think police are gonna look for her.
Get the live scoop.
I'm looking for her. Because, like,
We got V2 Gorlock the Destroyer. Start the clip with that. I don't know. I would encourage that because that would cause disruption. You don't want to do that in that country.
Yeah, we don't do that. Yeah, we don't.
No.
So
that's
the
not
point
America.
is, like, you don't go to other people's countries and then treat them like shit. Okay, like, you have no right to do that.
That's probably going to be one of the last times that she will do that shit in Dubai. Bet on it.
100%. She's gonna be deported if she gets found.
Yeah, that's finished.
That's how it is. Fuck this stuff, it's like, I see this shit in Japan, like, all the time. Like, I lived there for a while, and there would be, like, these fucking tourists who, like, mistreat the locals. So, the Japanese people are really nice, sweet people, okay? They don't know how to deal with this shit. And you see some fucking foreigner, right, treating them like shit, yelling at them, saying, why don't you understand what I'm saying? Like, they're just completely impatient for them, because the Japanese are very, they're very meek kind of people, okay? Like, they're very demure, right? And they treat them like shit. It's like, who the fuck are you to treat other people like this? If you want to treat people like this, go back to your fucking hometown in fucking Chicago, where the fuck you're from. Do not do this, okay? Don't go to Dubai and then judge other women, right, for wearing a burqa or something. It is their culture. Let them be, okay? You can do this shit if you're back home, wherever the fuck you're from. Don't do this in other people's countries. You don't like it when other people come to your country and tell you how to live. Get the fuck out.
Good point. Yeah. It's like when a bunch of people want to go to the Middle East or something, be like, well, I'm going to give them, like, I'm going to educate them. I'm like, bitch, you ain't going to do shit.
No. Go home, you know? Like, Dubai enjoys a lot of freedom, and we fucking love it here. Fucking treat other people with respect.
I've been to many different countries where tourists are, like, complain about how they're being treated. I'm like, yeah, because you're a fucking piece of shit tourist. You know?
Oh, yeah. And usually are, yeah. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
everywhere I've gone, people don't treat me like shit. People are generally very nice.
And it's fucking, it's bad because, you know, what happens is, you know, if in general the perception of tourists is a certain way because that's how the majority tends to act, then they're always going to have a negative aura. Like, whenever they see you, it'd be like, oh, it's one of those people. You know, like, I've been into various many third world countries and they would have, like, some sort of, you know, image of a white person being some sort of entitled guy who, you know, if say even that person were to trip and fall and they were to lift him up, then motherfuckers get sued. Like, that's legitimately how some people are. They're annoying as shit. You know, there's a reputation.
Yeah.
And once it turns out that you're not like that, they really fucking like you. You know, it's just the way it is.
Yep. That's
So
how it was.
please stop being a horrible tourist. You're a tourist, which means you're a guest in a country. There are house rules. Try to obey them as much as possible.
When I was in Singapore, there were like these Australian tourists who would, you know, go to like all the clubbing areas and treat everybody like shit. You know, they thought they were better than the Asians. And it's like, excuse me, can you just get the fuck out?
This guy says, lol, that question about do you disagree with Elon on anything broke his autistic brain. And Auta immediately came in and changed the subject. Holy shit. I didn't come in and change the subject. I was reading more of your fucking retards messages.
Speaking of messages, Liza, you got some more for me?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Adrian, do you have like anything you've come up with? Do you disagree with Elon on anything?
I really don't know, man. I don't focus on like stuff that I disagree on with people. I just focus on stuff that I agree on with because I feel like that's more productive. That's generally how I operate with people.
Okay.
Like, it's, you know, with some people I have disagreements, but that individual is so fucking productive and so like, it's so productive that I don't have an issue with that individual at all. Like, that's how I want more people to be like, to be honest. Again, I'm autistic as well, to no uncertain terms. So I kind of like that shit. Not my
Is
fault.
everybody on stage autistic, by the way?
I think to a certain degree everybody is.
Yeah, probably a little.
I mean, on stage, though. You know, I don't mean like people.
Never been diagnosed, but yeah.
We just do certain things that are very consistent with,
Yeah. I think that's accurate.
It's a high functioning, right? It's not always the same. People tend to look at it, say it's disorder. I'm like, technically speaking, you know, people that are high functioning are the
Okay.
individuals who create systems of order. So it's not a disorder at all. I don't think so. It's actually a thing that makes you a somewhat unstable genius. That's the best way to put it, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't suck as much as a savant. It actually is quite cool. You just don't like certain things in your environment, so you wish to change these things. And because you are quite clever, you will have the ability to do so, more so than many other people, which leads to jealousy and, you know, our version of society, which is kind of, you know, stupid and doesn't like us so much.
Do you accept the need for actual scrutiny in the visa vetting process? The USCIS data suggests 99.9% of H-1B visa applications were approved for FY 2023. I highly doubt that. The report also states that 386,559 new or continuing visa applications were filed, and 386,318 were approved. If so, how do we ensure that we are importing actually useful people? Because it's being dishonest to suggest we are currently importing the best and brightest of India. Also, on a side, it's disrespectful to compare a street-shitting, cow-worshipping culture like India's to American culture at all. Elon Miles Chud is a prattling rube. You should stop wasting your time with him and giving him a platform.
Nice. First of all, again, it's kind of funny how we had a discussion where I said, we shouldn't assume that all of those people inside of the, every single one of the H-1B applicants is Indians. How do you prove that? That's first of all. And second of all, we did address the fact that there needs to be reform, right? So we're not disagreeing on that either. I will disagree, however, with the culture assessment. That I will disagree with. Yeah.
All right, another one. Do we need more cybercrime enforcement for some of the things said on 4chan? Should they get a knock on the door if they cross that line or threaten Musk?
No, not just. Wait, hang on. Repeat that again?
I said, do we need more cybercrime enforcement for some of the things said on 4chan? And should they get a knock on the door, basically, if they cross the line or threaten Musk?
Cybercrime is a very loose. Yeah. I mean, cybercrime is a very loose term. When you look at it, I think policing should only extend to harassment, physical threats, that kind of stuff. Death threats in general, there should be a very hard line there. If you make a death threat, that should be 100% a knock on the door, and I think it even is. So.
It is applied. It's for 4chan. People might not realize, the people in 4chan, but there are feds monitoring it all the time. Because there have been incidents in the past where a murderer will post pictures or videos of the person they're killing on there and is led to immediate arrest. So yeah, it's already done.
So the enforcement should be a little bit more frequent and more,
There seems to be sometimes statements agreeing with us from like this one user from Israel.
Nice.
And like they're right now they're like 0 chance they have the IQ to catch this. And then flag. This isn't even basically saying that the Israeli agrees with you.
They're saying, do you think that migrants have more motivation than Americans who are born in luxury and comfort? They have more incentive to prove themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't say that's all of them. Okay, so again, I'd like to make a few instantly after make a few clarifications here. I think a lot of people, when they're born into privilege, do not understand the nature of this privilege itself. They don't understand what working hard actually looks like. How many of you have interacted with a millennial and thought, fuck, these people are entitled? How about the boomers? Same shit. You grew up in the most privileged of fucking times and are the biggest fucking assholes ever. Not all of them, but a very large majority of them, to the point that they've absolutely fucked future society for a lot of young people now. One of the reasons why we have such huge economic difficulties, not only just in the US, but planet-wide even, is because of what they did. And their shitty understanding of the world that was completely insufficient. So there is, for someone like that, if they come to a country and they want to, act on an opportunity, they have much more of a drive to work, I think, than someone who's like, I'm getting the benefits anyways, and, it's the country and they're entitled to the whole fucking position. I mean, you saw who we were talking to, a few days ago. Somebody who believed that there was one individual who's an absolute fucking idiot who says, oh yeah, I should be like a person who won't work in tech and, work in intelligence. And I, of course, roasted him. I said, for the kind of stuff that you post, if you're still fucking with brain, I think intelligence is a little bit off your pay grade. Besides that, that's a good point. I would say yes. They're a bit entitled. Not all of them, but I think a lot of them. Not all of them. That's I'm not saying all of them.
Did Adrian just say that American STEM students are inferior to other country students?
No, he didn't say that.
I said that STEM in general is evident in the US. And I was citing various examples as to why that is. In fact, getting a doctorate, for instance, for useless shit is a useless shit, and I think that should be fixed. I think academia itself is fundamentally broken. And that system needs to be fixed before STEM itself as a concept and as a measurable thing can even be considered a statistic worth mentioning. Because if you have bullshit papers in your fucking knowledge base, then guess what? Your knowledge base is corrupted. You may want to fix that.
What was that paper? The olfactory some bullshit?
Yeah, exactly. Olfactory oppression.
Olfactory oppression. Because if some person smells bad and you realize that they're homeless, they're being discriminatory against their smell. Yeah, it's nonsense.
I'll tell you one thing: that paper itself as a concept stacked so much that it was oppressing my olfactory senses and disabled my ability to think properly beyond basic interpretations, which people tried to debunk, even though they were correct.
That is
again, I have nothing against the person or anything like that. I just have something with the bullshit study or whatever that is. Bullshit assessments I'll always criticize. I don't care who uttered them. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah.
There's this
Maybe
guy,
whatever.
remember, he was saying he deserves all these jobs, like he could perform as well as a senior engineer. I think his name is Josiah Lippincott. So he's a follower of mine, but he got dumped on heavily by a lot of engineers. So they're like, okay, I'm going to offer you a job right now. I'm going to give you 3 months salary. And if you want to start right away, we can totally do that. We'll get you up to speed. And if you succeed in being as well as, as good as any of our senior engineers, we'll let you keep the job. He did not take up that offer.
Wasn't this the person who I think somebody gave him an ultimatum to? It's like, hey, here, man, we'll train you, we'll do the whole thing, and if you're not suitable, you delete your account. Fair deal?
Yeah.
He didn't fucking jump on it because he knew he was gonna get fucked. He knew he was gonna get fucked, man. This is funny.
A bunch of his classmates also replied. They're like, I knew you from school, and you were always up your own ass. And there's a reason why you're not getting offers.
Way to go. They got to circumvent the bully.
Yep.
Nice. Good job. That was a long time coming. They was cooking that shit so hard you could smell it all the way through.
Yep.
It's a beautiful wafty scent of the stew. Delicious. Victory.
It's honestly so embarrassing to go out there and say you deserve a job and then act like this, right? And then don't take the offer when it's given to you. There's also this other guy who I think he follows this. He might even be listening to the space where he was. He said he submitted a resume to work at X or maybe SpaceX or something, and he said he was willing to work for free. And Elon said, I guess he would we were dumb or something, right? And then everybody jumped on Elon claiming that he was being anti-white. It was not actually what he was.
Fucking stupid. Yeah.
And now
by the way, quick
shitting on Elon.
Yeah. By the way, quick.
Not gonna get up.
Is there more stuff? And also to the quote-unquote the Israeli, which is funny, who happens to agree with us. Do you have an X account? If you can answer that, but go ahead, Sublights, give me more questions.
Sure. Another one. How do you expect that the American empire will last more than a decade or two, given that the foundation of the currency has been rug pulled? This is geometric expansion of the paper money supply to make the lie go forever. You cannot scale back the spending significantly enough to give it more than an extra few years. When this house of cards comes tumbling down, the whole country is done.
I disagree. It's more so the debt issue more than anything. I mean, it is true that, money, and this is, by the way, the case for almost all money internationally, that the money is backed by nothing other than the promise of utility exchange for whatever, the number would be. That's realistically what money is. It's not backed by anything real anymore other than, enforcement and the promise of utility. That's it. That's realistically it. So that is a bit of an issue, I think, but at the same time, I think it is a solvable issue that is not going to cause as much chaos. And the spending thing, while sure that, creates a lot of, adds to the debt problem, I think the debt definitely can be fixed. And I think it's a skewed perception that many people have of the systems, any system, even around the world, that can't be fixed just because the management is, quite frankly, dog shit.
Why does Elon say Americans can't fill the job when the USA has the world's best schools? Harvard, Yale, Brown, Cornell, etc.
Did you not hear what I said about Harvard? Yeah. I don't know.
Adrian, if I may have a moment.
Go for it.
So I'm just trying to understand, what makes them think that STEM students who study in American universities are kind of inferior or something? Okay, so what is something that we can't do that, I don't know, maybe the European students are doing? Is that the question?
No, the question was why would I think that they're inferior? And I said I didn't think that they were inferior. I said that large elements of academia are useless. That's what I said.
Okay.
So it's not like that. It was a false interpretation. That was what the question was there. Anything else?
Yeah.
I was going to say something I forgot.
Statistics show that blacks and Latinos are net financial negative on our country. Why should whites continue supporting this and tolerating it?
What do you mean? What is the statistics for that?
Yeah.
I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense to me. You're just lumping up all these people into one group, and you kind of feel like, this is a representative of the whole. It's not. It's a fallacy designed to cause more chaos and division.
Correct. It's all about division.
History is extremely complex. I think one of the people who has done tremendous good coverage on the history that led up to the current status quo that we have in terms of, explain this.
Oh yeah, on your point earlier, Adrian, about the fixing the economy, right? Because the concern is that America is spending too much money and therefore it's just going to go bankrupt. If it's in its current state, and if you had 8 more years of a Democrat leader, probably, yes, that's what would happen. But the issue is that it's not like you're spending money on something that is completely necessary. Let's say you're spending, I'll make it easy. Let's say you have a total amount of money and it's $1 billion, and you're spending $1 billion a year, more than you actually have, right? The issue isn't that that $1 billion is not going to stuff that's actually useful. You could actually cut a lot of those costs, like for instance, all the wastage that Rand Paul outlined in his end of the year paper. Like a lot of that stuff, you could all be cut down, and you would literally save like 90% of money that you're spending right now because it's just being wasted. That's the issue. You cut out the waste, and suddenly you don't have a debt crisis anymore. Like that's the issue that people are just not understanding. They think that America's expenditure is out of control, which it is, but they think that they're spending it on things that are actually necessary, like the infrastructure to get it running. If that were the case, then yeah, America would truly be fucked. If all your money was going to infrastructure just to keep it maintained, yes, you would be 100% fucked. There'd be no way out of it. Like if you ever played SimCity or any other simulation game, that is a thing that can happen. That's like a runaway cascading failure, right? That is literally a problem that some countries face. But with this issue is you're spending money on garbage that you could actually cut out. So don't worry too much about it. You just need better management.
By the way, Adrian, there's an account requesting to come up called Adrian Dickman.
Yeah, no chance. You're not coming up.
Nice try.
Yeah.
I've heard better ones, better insults. Insulting my name is not really going to do anything because it's an extremely common name, and it's a code, so it doesn't mean anything. The attempt is laughable, but it's very cheap. Anyways, otherwise, anything else?
Yeah, they're saying, why not have companies bid for these H-1B visas? This allows market forces to ensure that we're actually getting the most valuable immigrants.
I don't know. Why not? It's actually a good suggestion.
It is a good suggestion, actually.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're having a productive conversation. Let's fucking go, man.
Yeah. Like
We got all the retards out the way. Now we're having a good discussion. Let's fucking go. Nice.
Yeah. Kill a lottery, right? Make it so that one company can't like monopolize the H-1B and let everyone have a fair play. Yeah, that's how you do it.
I think we were having a discussion about this, or a similarly themed discussion yesterday, was it? Or was it the day before with Molson?
Yeah.
We were like talking about how do we implement a system where, the cream rises to the top, the merit is prioritized above all. And one of the, so we can have you come up with like a list of what people suggested on X and otherwise. We should actually come up with a list. I think we can write down the amount of suggestions that we have and put it down and see. Keep that in mind. What was your question?
Right, so this guy says, investors must, I know about, okay, so, EB5, I know about EB5, I know several people personally that have done EB5. The problem with EB5 is that you have to invest in something called a regional center. Now, in theory, yes, you can start your own business and meet the requirements and hire 10 Americans and blah, 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 blah. In theory, you can do that. But realistically, the US government gives, from what I've heard, over 90% of approvals just to regional centers. If you come in with your own, they're going to find any bullshit reason to reject it. And they're going to be like, oh, you don't have any American work experience, you don't understand the US market, so you need to go through a regional center, right? And the problem is that what happens in a lot of these regional centers is that you put your money in, and they basically steal all the money through fraud, and you get something on a conditional green card. So if the regional center doesn't meet the requirements that's been set, then you lose both your $1 million and you lose your green card. That's the problem. That's why you see a lot of failed EB5 projects, because it's been stolen through fraud, and there's not really anything the people that invested in it can do. and they lose their money, and they also lose the green card, which is why, people, even if they're very successful, they don't really want to go through the EB-5 program, because the U.S. government needs to, sort through it. Doesn't make sense to keep using the H-1Bs for this sort of thing. I can agree with you, maybe raising the caps of O1 or EB-5 though, and but the argument is always, I will agree, you can get rid of H-1B as long as you fix the other programs. As long as the other programs. My issue is that there's a lot of people that can't come in on those, and if they can, they will be switched to illegal because their fucking green card stops being valid because it's conditional, right? That's why a lot of people come on H-1B because they don't really meet the criteria for other things, including the EB-1. And yes, there's definitely a lot of fraud. H-1B is not really that good either. So I don't have a problem with getting rid of it as long as we fix everything else.
That makes sense. Another one here. Mr. Adrian Disman, why with your worldwide platform you're not promoting American education to be exactly what's needed for our future workers instead of harping on about replacements? You're cutting all these tax programs. What's the plan for my child's education? I don't give a shit about the bathroom. My boy shits in the woods if he wants to. He's his own fucking man. What's school going to look like going forward? Question mark.
What the fuck kind of question? I don't really know how to answer that because it has a bunch of misconceptions in it, which makes it an almost unanswerable question. Can you repeat the last part again about the bathroom? I don't understand. What was this about?
Yeah, he says, you're cutting all these tax programs. What the fuck's the plans for my child's education? I don't give a shit about the bathrooms. My boy shits in the woods if he wants to, because he's his own fucking man. What's school going to look like going forward?
Isn't that like a thing that people have a problem with specifically? Like,
look, we have a problem with the fact that Nixon basically took it off the gold standard. We have a problem with fractional banking. Yeah. There was things that happened that fucked everything up.
Yeah,
that was a bad idea.
We're not denying any of the stuff that's fucked, by the way.
Tax is a stupid idea too. It was supposed to be temporary, but in 1914 they decided to make it permanent.
Yeah.
A stupid thing to do.
And
it has made Americans poor ever since.
You had the worst president of all time, Woodrow Wilson, basically fuck everything up.
I watch cat videos while I talk to you guys.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Fuck
why?
I don't know, I like cats.
Understandable.
Bro's playing Subway Surfers on his brain. Why do we give a hot shit about H-1Bs if we're supposed to be 8 seconds away from AGI/intelligence abundance?
Because people are overestimating what AGI and AI are going to do.
Yep. People forget that you live in a world that's ruled by a thing called thermodynamics. So...
Holy fuck, Ian, Miles, and Adrian are both Elon. It's wild.
They said I'm Ryan Gosling.
Hey, nice.
I knew it.
Hey, Adrian.
I'm even getting take the Ryan Gosling thing that they're sending, take a screenshot of that and put that into a video meme.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have a screenshot of it. Yeah.
Adrian, I'm even getting DMs saying that we gotta call you out and you admit that you're Elon. It's like fucking getting ridiculous, man.
Yeah. It's bullshit.
I can confirm it's fake. He's not Elon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back. But listen, you guys, we're talking earlier about Dubai. Ian, I think you live there. I was living there 2001, and I got my ass whipped during Ramadan. I think, Adrian, I told you guys a story about a year ago. I was arrested in Dubai, and
wasn't a fun experience, and that just proves that cultural differences. You got to respect the laws of the country. And man, I was 3 months in Dira prison. It was like fucking horrendous.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but no, look, it's I was 21 at the time, and we had just gone through that. Yeah, we had just gone through that September 11th thing. It was in November when I got arrested. So I was dating this Australian air hostess for Emirates. She went back, so I was like, oh fuck, depressed. Started drinking a bit, and obviously during Ramadan that year, it was November. They like cut off everything. So yeah, just went a bit apeshit, and got put in jail for 3 months. But got out, still worked there. We were importing diamonds for a company. So yeah.
You got a pretty light sentence, all things considered. Most people just get deported. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think look, I got huge respect for that country. It's proven itself. Sitting in the middle of the desert, I'm actually trying to help some agriculture to happen in the Hatta mountain areas. So yeah, it's yeah.
Good. Yeah, good. That's good. Yeah, that's what people don't seem to understand is when you go to a country, you respect the local traditions, the customs, the laws. Everything's going to be fine, right? And this is true for any country, whether it's Japan, whether it's Singapore, whether it's America even, right? The problem with a lot of, like those quote-unquote asylum seekers who go to Rome, for example, they shit on the place, right? They destroy it. You don't want to do that, and that makes the place worse. And when the country doesn't enforce the laws against these people for whatever reason, whether suicidal empathy is probably the main reason, those countries go to shit, right? We see that happening in Berlin. We see that happening in Milan right now, right? On New Year's, a lot of sexual assaults in Milan every single fucking year. That is unacceptable. That needs to change. That needs to stop. Those people need to be fucking deported. It's as simple as that. And in America, when a lot of migrants come in, I gotta say, H-1B migrants for the most part, pretty good. Illegal immigrants, not so good. They don't respect the laws. They broke the fucking law by coming into the country illegally in the first place. They need to be sent home.
Yeah, hundreds. And look, I'm in South Africa, born in South Africa. I traveled quite extensively in my younger years. Now I've got a family, I've got responsibilities. And looking at my kids, I don't want to. I can move to America. I can go there. I can, apply for any visa. I can implement, agricultural systems that we've successfully rolled out here. But when I spend time with my parents and my in-laws, I look at my kids and I see the interaction they have. Now, taking them out of this environment, moving them to America, to a different culture, bringing them back to visit the grandparents, that's an injustice that I'll do to them. So I've got to wait it out till they out of school, probably, for me to make that move.
100%.
Yeah, I was thinking about something interesting. It's kind of an addition, suggestion. So the problem would be, like, you'd bring people into a country, under H-1B, for instance, or any other. If, say, that individual turns out not to be highly skilled, is unproductive, would, say, deportation actually be something that's on the table? So, if you consider that, you have the person that comes over, but they turn out to have lied somehow. This is possible. Mm-hmm. I think that would be interesting. Another interesting element, something that could be tried. Personal suggestion.
It's they lied, right? It's you have to realize when you're a visitor in another country, you're a guest. You're a guest. Act like one. It's a privilege.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So,
any other questions?
So someone linked H-1B data, and it basically shows that almost 75% of it comes from India. 313,000. This isn't yearly, by the way. This is like total.
Total how much time?
What do you mean total how much time?
If it's not yearly and it's total, then what's the time span of the total?
No, total people on H-1B.
Right now, at the moment.
This was in 2019.
Okay.
Oh wait, this is H-1B petitions by, So these are petitions received. So 313,000, 300, almost 314,045, 75%. I mean, almost of all H1B went to India, and then 12% ish went to China. And then after that, there's a huge drop. 1% is Canada. 0.9% South
Pretty
Korea.
irrelevant. So I'll tell you why.
0.6% Philippines.
I'll tell you why this is, it's kind of a silly talking point because the vast majority of Europeans and Canadians who want to enter the United States, it's a lot easier for them to enter. They do not need to use H-1B. So that's why. So if you look at other programs, other visa programs, or simply green card programs, not even H-1B, right? Canadians can get in really fucking easily. Europeans, no problem. They can get in very easily and they can become like residents extremely easily compared to, someone from India. That's the reason why the majority of H-1B visa holders are going to be from India and China. So it's people seem to be under the impression that this H-1B comprises the vast majority of immigrants that come to the United States. This is simply not true.
This guy says, Auta showed this to Adrian. He's either acting dumb or is dumb. He wants to keep sheep, Indian slaves. 75% of H-1Bs go to Indian nationals, often exceeding the 85,000 cap, nearing 100,000 annually. This doesn't include R1 or OPT, which are also dominated by Indians. You represent an Indian ethnic body, so your intentions are clear despite debunked facts. Facebook settles claim it discriminates against U.S. workers for some jobs in favor of temporary visa holders.
Well, Facebook is not the best example of an American company, in my opinion. I think it's a very shitty company in many respects, very unethical. So is Google in many respects as well, even though there are various many good people that work there, and they do good things too. I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with the fact that there's so many Indians. Like, if they're capable and they assimilate well into the American culture, then they too are Americans.
The idea of H-1B is that they're temporary workers. They don't even qualify for green.
Correct.
So, again, the job works out well. Win-win everyone. I mean, you're benefiting off the taxes. So, how is this not America? Oh, it's in America.
I guess the argument would be that
This was a mistake. Fuck. I just ate a piece of super sweet chocolate. Sorry. Ugh. God, that was a mistake. It's fucking disgusting. Ugh.
You have fucked us all.
Ugh.
You have fucked us all, Adrian.
Fuck these. This. Why is there so much sugar in it? Wow. Fuck, that one's a little too much.
Anyway, the argument would be that hiring H-1Bs often leads to lower wages, but yeah, that's how it's used right now. We're arguing that it shouldn't be used like that. Change for the better. That's what we're arguing.
Again, we're not against anybody here. We're just against ignorance, realistically. We're against concepts, not people, which I believe, say for instance, if this is something, maybe 4chan is not familiar with what we are and what we do here as a show, but in general, if any group is discriminated against, we'll defend them because it's not fair. We're not against racism because it's against certain people, but we're against it in general. So it doesn't matter. It just so happens that, the Indians are at the forefront now, which is, as it is. So we're not disproportionately defending them. We're just defending whomever is under the most, illogical threat, let's say, when it comes to race-based perceptions, right? We make fun of people that call other people racist for no reason. But, if there is a reason, then there's a reason. Okay? Just so people understand that. We're team human. And team human means everyone.
We need every player in the game. If you want to go to Mars, if you want to go to space, we have to peace. Simple as that.
Dude, for a second there, you sounded like Laura Cap. What the fuck?
Yeah, I thought he was lawyer cat for a sec. Like, he just got all quiet for that. It's weird.
Hey, for a second, like, how the fuck is this guy up here?
Sounded like a different mic or something. Yeah.
How are you doing, Moist Hagel, by the way? Still, it's a funny screen name. I still think it's funny. It's just great.
Do you know why people say if it's Boeing, I'm not going? Yeah, it's because they're fucking.
Yeah,
we know.
we know.
They will say the same about Teslas if Indians take over. They will say if you drive a Tesla, you better bring a fire suppressor. Don't do it.
Do you not realize that Tesla's autopilot is headed by a person who's an Indian?
H1B guy too.
Like,
I think that's their argument.
it's good. What's wrong with Tesla's? Not autopilot. Sorry, it's not just autopilots. It says FSD as well. Like, what's wrong with it? It's amazing. Right. It's literally outperforming all of the competition.
Yeah,
like literally
put that to me in a post.
It's literally the best.
When I made the post, I said the guy responsible for autopilot and FSD is H1B holder from India. He said, "Yeah, it's true."
Why is he H1B? Why not just get like an O1?
Because it's very hard to get an O1.
Yeah.
Probably it wasn't. Probably the skill aspect wasn't yet very well known, so it probably wouldn't have worked out. Yeah.
Right. You comply to like 3 different requirements, and while it's doable to do 2, the third is like stupidly hard, and it's the reason why Elon was also rejected for an O1.
Oh, fuck me. Sorry.
Like he had to come in. I mean, he came in as a student at first, but then he applied for an H1B because he tried a O1, and they were like, "Nope, you don't fulfill the requirements." So blah 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 nonsense.
Right.
All right. More questions?
It's stupid.
Yeah, I guess I'm here. We want to know, what do you think are the best arguments for Adrian not being Elon? Like, what kind of differences can we point out? Maybe?
Am I supposed to defend myself here? Because
well,
I mean, the fact that Elon is tweeting a bunch of other stuff or at an event while we're hosting the space. I mean, is that not evidence enough?
We were like simultaneously doing different things at the same time. We've played together in a video game. We've spoken together on spaces. We've done many things.
Yep.
Where it clearly is demonstrable that we're individuals that are individual. Another thing is speech patterns. Though they be similar because of the conditions. I have much more fluent speech. That is something. And
also several people have met Adrian.
Yeah.
We've seen a couple people have seen him.
Yeah. Very high trust individuals who are like, there's no way.
Under the
thanks, Adrian. I've met you, so yeah, that's a compliment. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like, under the right circumstances, I can sound like him as well. This doesn't mean I'm Elon.
Like when you say "Wow, Ian," you kind of sound like him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're kind of gonna have to take our word for it. That way.
I mean, we have some digital examples, which would be like, direct communication where we're talking over each other effectively. That's one example. Many people that are qualified basically stating so as well. For instance, there was one legacy media reporter. I don't usually agree with him, but there was one individual who said something very interesting. It says, "I listen to Elon's clips a lot more than I actually want to, and I can tell you that guy is definitely not Elon." And they fucking buried his ass for no fucking reason. He literally had his audience, which are mostly lefties, attack him. That was kind of funny. Yeah. So that's another thing. So many people who are familiar will be able to tell you there's differences, what they look like and what they aren't. And there are many differences, you can tell. I'm a pretty good public speaker. Yeah.
You guys had a back and forth discussion. Yeah. You were like talking at the same time with each other several times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the evidence. And of course, me hosting a space, for instance, while the Rocket Launch was happening, I was hosting a space. I was actually hosting a space practically all night leading up to it. I did that, and then even while Elon was on camera live talking to someone else, I was talking on a space. So there's physical evidence.
Oh yeah, or the one where we were talking while like the space was going on with Trump and Elon.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah. I was even live streaming that shit. I was live streaming the space, and that was one hell of a fucking day. Holy shit.
When he's doing, he was at Mar-a-Lago with his family on TV, and he clearly didn't even have a phone with him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right, what else?
Yeah, he says, I'll tell you, you're a cool guy. I appreciate you. Cheers, bro.
Nice. There we go.
Nice.
See, it's starting to like us. Again, we don't have any problem with 4chan. We just have a problem with some of the schizo bullshit that's happening. But we do a little trolling as well, so it's understandable. It's an understandable reaction. But hey, we're having a good communication here, and I think that's very nice. Anyways, Wise, give me something.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on in-group preferences being instinctual to like humans?
But not really. No, I don't have them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have them though. I will say that that's definitely going to be somewhat of a problem.
I do think he's right though. That it is a thing in humans.
I think the majority has that because they're not intelligent enough to optimize that out of themselves in favor of just pure merit. And to an extent is even understandable because let's say you have, culture is like almost its own type of language in a sense as well. And you have with work a language barrier problem. So even on the interpretive level, so imagine if you want to do things a certain way, you have like a specific style of work, like a work ethic that is different than from somebody you just brought in. That's going to be problematic. It's going to be problematic. Sorry, it's going to be problematic. So there are already and the brain tends to like certainty and.
It wants ease.
Yeah, it wants ease.
Right? It wants familiarity.
Exactly.
When you, for instance, let's say you're a Chinese manufacturing worker, right? You're used to working with other people of your, race who have a similar work ethic, similar structure of operating things. If you decide that you were going to work with, say, a bunch of Norwegians, maybe they operate something, somewhat different.
They have like very similar baselines, so it's a great compatibility. Now, I would say ideally people should just focus around the concept of whatever work is itself instead of like bringing their personal lives into it and such like that. But people are social creatures, so they will inevitably try and mix that somehow, and it happens. You have relationships at work and whatnot, and so. If you are going to have really good chemistry with someone, you inevitably find that to be, that's going to form a relationship based on the in-grouping effect. Then, yeah, that is a bit of a problem.
It's a behavioral thing, right?
Yeah. I think in general, people should just focus on the work more so than the personal relationship, because I think that the personal relationship should happen only at the work level and not at the social level, because that's irrelevant. Right. You're not there for friendship, you're there for work. So I think that there's still a little bit of in-grouping that's going to happen to a certain extent, but I think those will be optimized out, because if somebody is, we're all friendly but fucking useless, then they're still fucking useless, but they're going to be friendly. So, and by that extent, being friendly is not the most successful trait that you're going to have if you're, like, say, you're part of a company that does engineering. It means, you're supposed to be a good fucking engineer, not a good social engineer. You understand?
One good example is, if you want to talk about, cultural melting pot, that would be a place like Dubai, for example. There's a lot of different races here, right? You got Russians, Americans, Europeans, Asians, and so on. A lot of the people here simply get along. Doesn't matter what race they are, because they have a very similar. It's a kind of people, right? It's the kind of people that this place draws. Okay, so you're going to find a lot of people in your sphere of like your industry that are going to have a very similar work ethic. It doesn't matter what background they have, what race they have. They are all going to be very similarly minded when it comes to doing the job, and so it is a very efficient society. Now, if you were to import a bunch of people who've never worked a single day in their lives from, say, I don't know, some backwater in like deep Africa or something, and you import them into Norway, will they fit in well? Probably not, right? Because they're not used to the work ethic that Norwegians have.
I don't know why these guys. Look, I fucking agree. Yes, interest and all these things. Yeah, I do agree with the fucking loans sucking ass. Yes, I agree that these are fucking the entire world. Look, I'm not. Yeah.
What are you responding to?
Someone basically said, hey, out a fucking faggot, usury is slavery. I know you're too coward to say it because you're
usury is slavery? Isn't it your choice to take a loan?
Well, it is, yes, but...
So where is the responsibility?
You're living in a world where you're basically forced to take loans.
Are you?
I get
I
don't think you are.
I don't know that
Probably
that's
not.
necessarily true, but I think there is
Yes, it
such a
is.
thing. There is such a thing as predatory.
No, just live beneath your means.
Hold
Live
on,
beneath
wait.
your means, and you never have to take a loan.
You're being forced to take loans nowadays.
Okay.
So, okay, so think about it in the past. In the past, what happened is that you had a
I just
job.
realized I was muted the whole time. Fuck me.
You had a job, right? With your job, you would be able to buy a car cash with your one job, and you would be able to drive to your work with the car.
I get where you're going with it.
And you could, for example, right? You could get a mortgage, but it wasn't something that was necessary. It was something that just added to your life. Right?
It really isn't necessary, though. I mean, if you
No, it's 100%. No.
It's like you want to live above your means, and that's why you're taking a loan because you want the nice. You want
not
the nice
at all.
house.
Not at all. In most places in the world, you cannot get a nice house or even a good house without hundreds of thousands of dollars down.
Is that true?
Right.
I don't think that's true.
That is 100% true.
Just live beneath.
Yeah,
That's not
definitely.
necessarily true. That's not true.
Well, in South Africa, you definitely have that problem. That's construction has become unaffordable just because of
exactly.
What they do is there's obviously a mass migration from rural in South Africa now, for instance. There's mass migration from rural where they entice people who are living independently off the grid rural to come and work in the cities to obviously gain the tax payment that we get from these people. So there's a shortage of homes in the urban areas. So now all of a sudden property has spiked through the roof. I've seen probably a 15% increase in my payments on my bonds that I have on properties. And if I want to go for another property, even if it's just a small coastal 2-bedroom apartment that I want to holiday at, I have to get some money from the bank to pay for that because, it's just become way too expensive. And for security, it's probably one of the better ways to do it, but it's getting more expensive. Henry Ford had the idea of giving every single hardworking American a vehicle at affordable prices. GM came in and they changed that whole thing by saying, oh no, you can buy your wife a vehicle as well, just come and get a loan from the bank. That's where it all started for America with, for instance, vehicles.
Also, keep in mind that because of taxes, because of interest rates and taxes, the price of properties is just going to keep going up and up and up. And the fact that companies are entering the housing market and buying up these houses, the price of houses are coming up, right? So you could have bought an okay house, right? Not a great house, just an okay house. And you could realistically be priced out of this house because you have to pay, because the area that you live in just happens for the price to go up. And you end up owing more and more in taxes per year on your house that you have had for 50 years, 60 years. And you're effectively priced out of your home and you would be forced to sell it. And you can't even downsize in the area anymore because you just have an okay house. You'd have to move to a completely different area. So I don't think this is a very valid argument where you can just say, oh, you're living above your means, you need to downsize these types of things. Because you could always make that claim, oh, just move to Zimbabwe and you could live for cheap. Yeah, but people want to live where they grew up, where they chose, or where they worked, right?
They need to get realistic, though.
Things have sentimental value.
Well, fuck sentiment. Be realistic. Be practical. I don't understand the need for sentimentality. It's not a requirement. It's not a necessity. It doesn't hold water to me. If a place is unlivable, you move. It's as simple as that. Like, you may not like it if your hometown has become too expensive, or there's not enough jobs there that pay well. Tough shit.
Housing is completely unaffordable, right? It's even worse than the U.S., and the wages are worse than the US. So the average person has no way of ever buying a home in Canada.
That's
They
true.
just have to rent for the rest of their life. Right?
I think that's a Canadian problem. I think that's a problem with
That's
the people they
outside
hold
of
the power.
Canada. That's outside
Like-
of Canada. That's also a problem in Australia.
The issue is that, you know, in Canada in particular, you have Justin Trudeau, who has basically fucked up the housing market despite pledging every year to fix it. He just makes it worse. And instead of people voting for someone like Pierre Poilievre to take power and fix things, they keep voting for this motherfucker to, you know, fix the country, even though we never will. And it is a Canadian problem in that instance.
But I think
Canadians
this
are
is
fucked.
eventually. I think this is eventually going to be a worldwide problem, though.
You think so?
People are. Yes, I think increasingly you're going to have houses owned by a smaller percentage of people, and you're not even going to have these houses coming to their grandchildren or children because they're going to sell the house that's going to be owned by companies or renting.
They're gonna sell the house off to pay off the debt, and then they're gonna end up having to live paycheck to paycheck. No matter any way you dial up the outcome, it's still the same.
Free speech is also under attack in Canada. I mean, we have intellectuals like Jordan Peterson moving to the US because of that.
Yeah. Canada is just kind of an unlivable place. And
I mean, if you consider it, the cost of living in Toronto, Ontario, was probably the exact same as Manhattan, New York, and Manhattan is
in a movie where they would say, "Oh, my father or my grandfather built this house with their bare hands." Today, regulations and the cost of architecture and, you know, going to councils to approve things, on top of, you know, getting building supplies that are affordable. I think just today it's becoming unaffordable to even just buy a piece of land somewhere and build your own house. That's a common property worldwide, I think.
Exactly. Also, I'm not changing my opinions because I'm reading you guys. These are literally my opinions. These have always been my opinions.
Big problem is that people have just forgotten how to build houses.
Themselves.